Viewers and subscribers, welcome back to the Sports Perspective TV. As always, thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate you being here, taking your time out to watch the video, and interacting with the video as well. Now, as you can tell from the thumbnail, in this one, we're going to be discussing the West Indies and their chances of bouncing back in this 5-match T20 series between them and England, right? England won the first 2 matches comprehensively. And it's really looking bleak from a West Indies standpoint right now. So going to be sharing a few things with you. Definitely want to hear from you, the viewers and subscribers as well. Whether or not you think we will be able to bounce back and win this series or even win a match, right? The English victories have been so convincing so far. Who knows, they might sweep the whole series. But going to be sharing a few things with you. Definitely share in the comments section where you think we can improve with the current squad that we have. And who we can bring in to make these improvements, right? So just stick around to the end of the video as we discuss this, right? So but before I get into it, right? Just take a few seconds to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so as yet, right? Free and simple and easy ways for you to support the channel, but it really goes a far way in helping the channel to grow and helping the channel to get out there. So we'd really appreciate if you take a few seconds to just hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. All right, so now that that's out of the way, let's get into it, right? So, like I said earlier, it's been a literally England has crushed us in both of the matches so far, and it's been a batting struggle, right? The top order has definitely struggled, right? The lower order, namely Agudakesh Moti, Shepherd coming in the lower order. We saw Matthew Ford in the last match as well doing their thing. It's the lower order that's really helped us to post decent scores in the matches. But as we've seen, it's not been good enough, right? And it's not a pitch issue, right? So we can definitely take that out of it. It's not a pitch issue because the English batsmen have shown us that they are able to score on the pitch, and not only score on the pitch but score fast, right? So it's definitely a batting issue from as it relates to our batters and what they are doing, right? And but when you look at the squad, right? So the top order has failed, but really and truly, what changes can be made to improve that, right? So you think about bringing in a Shai Hope, maybe that can bring some solidity to the top order, right? But we definitely need to get more from the openers, right? The openers have failed so far in both matches. Brandon King and Evan Lewis, right? Do you bring in a Shai Hope for either of them, right? Or would you bring Shai Hope in the middle order, right? That's something that we can definitely consider. Also, in terms of the middle order, right? Shimron Hetmyer failed in the first match. Rastan Chase came in the second match. Chase made more runs than Hetmyer, but if you consider he was at 13 off 7. So it really wasn't that much of a contribution with the bat from Chase either, right? And with the ball, I'm not going to single out Chase, right? Because all the bowlers, except Akil Hussain and Matthew Ford, somewhat in the second match. Burakesh Moti was a bit, I think he went for 8 runs and over in the second match as well. But you can say, in the first 2 matches, Akil Hussain has really been the only bowler that has stood out with his bowling and have given the English batsmen any trouble at all to score, right? Akil has been, very economical, right? He's been very economical with his bowling, even though England, have scored fast against us. They have been unable to score that much runs off Akil Hussain, right? Him bowling up there in the power play as well, where there are feeling restrictions, right? So that just goes to show the quality of Akil Hussain, and I must even though it's been a 2 bleaky performances, I must highlight Akil Hussain's bowling as a light, for the team in these bleaky performances for the team, right? Definitely cannot downplay Akil Hussain's brilliance in the bowling, right? Only now we just need other bowlers to step up, with him and make this series a competitive one, right? So far, our bowling has been terrible, right? Akil Hussain was the only bowler, again, like I said, in the first match that went for less than 10 runs. in the second match again, right? Akil Hussein again, Gudakesh Moti was a bit more economical in the second match, and so too was Matthew Ford, but all the other bowlers still went for over 10 runs again, right? So it's not been good, right? So in terms of the bowling, right now you think about Alzarri Joseph, right? Alzarri, you know, he served his 2 match suspension, right? He wasn't named in the squad, but he served his 2 match suspension, you know, have and the series being on the break, right? The last match was played on Sunday, and the next match won't be played until I think Thursday, right? So do they bring in back Alzarri Joseph into the squad and into the game to kind of try and bolster the bowling attack, or do they just let Alzarri sit out and for the entire series and go with what we do have, right? Andre Russell has also been injured. You know, he suffered I think it's an ankle injury. You know, I haven't really heard any update, you know, on him, about him as it relates to his condition, or, you know, how long he will be out for, or whether or not he will be available for the remainder of the series, right? So the bowling has been struggling, and we have also sustained injuries. Andre Russell is an important bowler for us, right? Important with the batter as well, right? So it's really not that many options that we have when you think about it, right? So personally, I would bring in back Alzarri Joseph and hope that he can come in and make a difference, right? Because when you look at it, Terence Hines came in for Andre Russell and he was expensive, right? Shepherd, good with the bat, but been poor with the ball, been very expensive. Shamar Joseph went for about 15 runs and over in the first match, right? So we don't really have that many options, right? So if we want to win this series, you know, bringing in Alzarri Joseph might help. It might not make a difference, but I do think with Alzarri's experience, right, even though he's a bit on the expensive side at times, you know, I think his experience, you know, might help, and his extra pace and bounce, right? Because yes, Shamar Joseph does have pace, but you know, I think the extra bounce of Alzarri Joseph, and in all honesty, Alzarri Joseph does bowl faster, right? And Alzarri Joseph gets extra bounce, right? We saw it in I think it was the third ODI, that ball that he bowled to get rid of. I think it was Will Jacks, right? That extra bounce, right? That can trouble the batsman at times, right? So I think that's an advantage for Alzarri, and will can definitely help the team in the bowling department. Right, but if there's no Alzarri Joseph, then it really just comes down to our bowlers. They have to do better. You know, with for the lack of a better word, they have to do better. You can't be bowling in T20s on the same pitch as the England bowlers, and pretty much all our pacers are going for over 10 runs and over. You know, so our bowlers definitely have to do better, and our batters, you know, our top order, you know, they don't get a pass either. Right, they've been bailed out so far by the lower order. Again, like I mentioned earlier, Moti, Shepherd, Ford, right? But with your top order, you know, failing, you know, losing at least 2 wickets in the power play, you know, that's a recipe for failure, right? So the batters need to show up and perform better, right? Do you bring in back a Shimron Hetmyer? You know, Shai Hope, you know, those are the 2 batters that are out, that were left out, right, who can possibly come back in. But then, you know, with the bowling struggling as it is, right, I don't see it. It's hard to see them going into the match without 6 bowling options, right? You know, we saw in the first T20 where they went in with only 5 bowling options. That didn't work out well. In the second match, they played the extra bowler. That also didn't work out well, right? But also the batting didn't help in that regard either, right? They put a low total on the board, and playing on a wicket that was offering. I would say the wicket was it offered something for the bowlers, but it was also a good wicket to bat on, right? And the England batters showed that again, like I said earlier, and our bowlers weren't good enough to restrict them at all, right? So I do think, you know, 6 bowlers, you know, playing 6 bowlers, you know, is the best option for the team, right? No, which 6 bowlers we play, you know, that's where the issue will come. our spinners so far have been, you know, all of our pacers have been expensive, right? So I do see them going with the 3 spinners, continuing with the 3 spinners, right? Chase had a bad bowling game, yes, in the second T20, right? But in general, Chase's bowling has been good, right? So I do see them continuing with a Rastan Chase, right? But definitely let me know in the comment section, you know, what would you do, right? Do you think we can bounce back from this? Do you think we can rally and win the series? No, we'll be playing in St. Lucia. I think it's St. Lucia, yes, in a different venue, right? Different conditions. You know, will that work in our favor, or will England just continue their dominance and complete the series victory in the third T20? Definitely share your thoughts in the comment section, you know, about all of these topics. You know, would you bring in back Alzarri, Joseph, and all the other topics that were discussed in the video. As always, thank you for tuning in. Do remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and definitely share your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you, and I will see you in the next video.